Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gemma. I hope you guys are doing well. So today we are building a habitat for the Smilodon. She is beauty, she is grace. She is probably my most favourite animal which we have in Prehistoric Kingdom until we get the Dilophosaurus, of course, which I will always stand beside my beloved Dilophosaurus. But until then, I'll settle for the Smilodon, which sounds a bit mean, but yeah, anyway, regardless, let's talk about today's episode. So we are building this tunnel here, which was heavily inspired by a little old project which is very dear to my heart, which is Edinburgh Zoo. So if you don't know, I actually have a Planet Zoo series where I have been recreating Edinburgh Zoo, and one of the habitats that they have is for a tiger. And I think they call it tiger tracks, and basically it is this tunnel that you can walk through and the tiger can actually climb above the tunnel itself and go between two separate habitats. Now, I have been to Edinburgh Zoo many a times and I have never seen a tiger actually climb above my head, but I have seen it perched up on its kind of like chill out zone, and it's very cool. Guests absolutely love it as well, and that's exactly what we're all about here in Loughlin's Park. So guests facilities are number one. We are a little bit obscure when it comes to our ideas, and that's kind of what I like to build like. So we do have habitats here in Loughlin's which are a little bit obscure, and I am loving the comments, by the way, in those videos as well. So I actually built a T-Rex habitat which I put a zipline over, so in case you guys haven't checked that one out, I will put a link at the end of this video, but until then, please don't click away because we have a lot to chat about. And yeah, I'm going to take this time to give you a little bit of a personal update about myself. So again, if you don't know, which I'm pretty sure a lot of you would know because I've said this in live streams, that I broke my toe. It was quite the event. I'll tell you how it happened, and it's very pathetic, but basically I tripped over a stick. This is no joke, in my house. What happened was my son, who I love to bits, he went out for a walk with his dad and he brought back a stick, and the stick, I managed to make it up into his room, and I thought it was safely in his room, but I don't know if it was my dog that brought it into my bedroom or if it was him. But there was just a morning I was walking from one side of the bed to the other and I tripped over a stick, and it is very embarrassing, but you know what, I'm going to share it with everyone. So currently I am on crutches, which is a bit of a mood. It has now officially nearly been a week since I've been on crutches, and I have now decided that I'm going to try and do it on one crutch to see how I get on. I think I'll be okay. Hopefully by next week I'll be off the crutches, but it does say it takes 4 to 8 weeks to completely heal, so that's a nice image for me. Yay. So that's kind of a little bit of a life update. Back to Prehistoric Kingdom, because that's exactly why you guys clicked on this video. You didn't really want to hear about my broken toe, but you know, you now have that information, so do what you will with it. So this is a bit of a sunken habitat here, which I really wanted the guests to come along into this tunnel and then literally be at the same height as the paws for the Smilodon, and I just thought that would really be a nice kind of feature. So if they're walking about, it's like literally you're at eye level, so to speak, with the Smilodon. These animals are absolutely rapid as well, as in they are so fast. When I put them down into the park and one of them started running, I was like, oh my gosh, it's like a bullet. So you might get to see that a little bit later on in the real-time tour part. And then this is me just trying to figure out a ramp for access for our guests. So pushchairs, wheelchairs, users, that's always like at the forefront of my mind when I build in Loughlin's Park. And then this is literally me just trying to figure out, I wanted to do a custom fence. Now I have no issues with in-game fences, I have used them many times, but this one I just didn't feel like I had one that really matched what I was trying to do here. I mean, the Smilodon itself has to have quite big security, in my head it does. The game doesn't necessarily think that, and I don't know if Luminary is going to actually change that, because I feel like they should. So if you look at a Smilodon in game, it says that they need a 1 meter fence, which is really, really small. I'm pretty sure I put a 1 meter fence down around the Smilodon and it could still like pop its head over. And I'm like, surely Smilodon should be able to climb. So this is why I've made it a little bit more secure with this kind of bamboo heavy railed fencing here. So if it did want to have a little wee climb, then it's going to basically be stopped. And then this is me just basically trying to figure out where this habitat is going to go. We have got a little water pool system kind of going on as well. I say system, it's a loch, it's a river. It's very natural as well, so this will be fresh Scottish water that the Smilodon can swim in or just have a drink from. And that's what I kind of loved about Lochlands, is the majority of the habitats are linked up to either fresh water. The back of the park, it's going to kind of be a little bit more interesting. Again, if I try and link it up to a river running through it, then it will be perfect. But kind of the ones that are more in the main land of Lochlands don't necessarily have that, so they'll probably have to get like more man-made pump system kind of thing, which I'm okay with, to be honest. I mean, the whole idea is that they can pump the water from the loch, so it should be an issue. But yeah, this is me just figuring out, I love doing this, honestly. I really love figuring out where heavy traffic is. I just think it's more interesting for foot traffic. So I think, okay, the Smilodon would be coming off of this ramp here. This bit would be like a little bit more bumpy. Yeah, and I love doing that kind of thing, especially for, where's the keepers going to come into this park? Like, how are they going to, look after them and all this stuff? So this is me just kind of trying to hide the fact that it's a little bit bumpy around the edges there. So we might come back in and do some like plants and stuff around there, but I was kind of just hiding it with a little bit of rocks and a little bit of foliage, just to make it look a little bit better. So again, we'll probably come back in and jazz it up a bit. Foliage is not my strong point. I have always said this about when I build. A tree's a tree, my friends. A tree is a tree. I know that there's obviously trees that are from different districts and, look and feels about them, but I'm very much like, does it look good? Okay, let's put it in. I'm not really one for being like, oh, this is not going to grow here because of the climate. So this is probably completely wrong. And especially because, Smilodon, there's this one that I've actually put into the park likes temperate foliage. And I've went away and put boreal foliage in with it, but welfare is completely turned off, so it is what it is. And I think that's what's the fun thing about sandboxes, is you can literally do anything that you want. So I am just again figuring out some trees here, again boreal, because we are in Scotland, so there's going to be a lot of Douglas ferns, a lot of ferny trees. Again, my friends, I'm sorry, but a tree is a tree, so as long as it looks good, it will get put in. But then I do kind of scatter a little bit of temperate foliage around about as well, and just making it a little bit more rocky down to the waterfront. This habitat itself, I mean, it is split into two sections. The one over to the left hand side, which we're working on currently, as you can see, it does go down to the water side. I then just threw an in-game barrier around that because I honestly don't know what other animal to put on the opposite side of it. If we should make it like a more guest facility section, especially because I'm very much aware that maybe people don't want to walk through this tunnel to see the Smilodon, and the back of this habitat we are going to have to link it up to the rest of the park. So it's something I'm very conscious of, and we'll probably figure all that stuff out. But yeah, this is me just trying to get some grip onto the ramp section here. So you would have seen earlier on that I did have this really long, kind of windy platform for the Smilodon, and it just was a nightmare for them to traverse, to be honest. They need about a 4 meter wall path, or wood path, or whatever path you want to put down. Modular piece, that's the word I'm trying to find. So I was just like, okay, I'm just going to have to put down one of these, modular pieces and see if they'll traverse over it, and they do, so that's fantastic. And then this section here is me just building a lookout point. Now, this is very basic, I will admit. It's not one of my finest builds, to be honest. It's very boring, but I kind of like that because you've got this tunnel, which is, dug out of the ground. They would have spent a lot of money for safety, even though safety is a bit questionable in Lochlands. They would have spent a lot of money on it, and then they were just like, okay, we have this like birdhouse hut here that we used to use to do bird watching and stuff, but we can repurpose it and say that this is like the lookout point. So again, if you don't want to go through the tunnel, maybe it's a little bit too busy, but you still want to see the Smilodon, then you can come up here and check out the Smilodon and where they're at. Also, at the very front of this, we do have some of the platforms that the Smilodon can lie on top of. Unfortunately, right now, because of the traversable area, they don't actually go up on it. But I thought it was just like a kind of nice implied section, and we do obviously have their food as well. So there's a high chance that if you come up on here, you're going to get a more closer view of the Smilodon eating rather than going through the tunnel. So it's something that I've just been keeping in mind as well. So I'm just kind of jazzing up, so to speak, the inside of this. It is very dark and it's very brown, and there's so much places that I've been to that have these kind of huts that they're out in the open. They don't really get much maintenance looked after them. They literally have a sign that'll say this is a Smilodon. There's some facts and figures. There might be a bin in there as well, but apart from that, it's not something that they're going to come and make sure that it's like highly polished and highly looked after, where the tunnel that they would do something like that. So that's why it's kind of a little bit janky, a little bit like, okay, it's just a lookout point. So they've not spent money on it, basically. So this is me just making some custom signs. I'm very much aware that we are going to be getting in-game signs, which I'm really happy and excited for when that update comes out. And then we will be maybe replacing some of these, but I do kind of like them at the same time. But yeah, foliage in next, and we're going to wrap this up for a real-time tour. So I will speak to you guys very shortly. Okay, welcome on in, friends. So where we currently are standing at the moment is, if you go along that way, you'll kind of see in the background there, that is the T-Rex habitat. And if you go along that way, we've got a couple of habitats that I've been working on as well. So we'll just kind of get into our Smilodon habitat here. So we'll go up this little pathway here, and then we come to the Smilodon enclosure. So we'll just open up the door, and oh, there we go. We've got a Smilodon coming up at the top there, probably actually going for a sleep. We'll just kind of follow it and see. Yeah, it's oh no, there's two of them. So there's currently one that's walking along the glass at the top here. Hello, friend. And we have one that is fast asleep on the glass, which is quite interesting. Look at those 28-inch canines just protruding out there, my friend. So there we go, that's our little two Smilodon. Oh my gosh, I just thought, what happens if they poop on the glass? I have not put a dung beetle up here. But anyway, this is a tiger tracks, kind of my version of it anyway. So we've got our Smilodons that can come up this ramp here. Like I said, we've got these like little grippers that if it's snowing or if it's icy, then they can get like a really good grip. I do actually have 3 Smilodons in here at the moment, so I'm sure we'll find them as we come along. There's our other little majestic Smilodon. Oh, hello. Yep, told you they were absolutely rapid. Okay, could not catch that. Right, so I'll just take you up this section as well. So, oh my gosh, someone needs to get a lawnmower out. Okay, so we actually did go away and fix the grass here, as you can see. But basically, this takes you out to behind the mountains. We're going to basically extend Lochlands to go all the way back here. But I've not kind of done that yet. But it was just to show you what it looks like when you come out of that habitat there. I mean, you can see in the background we've got our Smilodon walking along the top. I did actually get rid of some of the trees here so you can look down the habitat as well. But we're just going to head back in and we'll see our Smilodon walking along, doing its thing. Try and get down to guess height. So far they've kind of just stayed on this glass. They've not really adventured much. They kind of just get to like a point. They'll maybe go for a sleep and then they'll come back down again. So we've not had any escapees as of yet, which has been quite nice. So I'm going to take you actually up out of here so we can have a look at their habitat. So there's our little friend there, chilling like a villain. As you guys probably would have guessed it, at the start of this habitat, this was all green, which is quite amusing given the state of my my love for the colour green. But yeah, I did actually change it to white in the end. So this is our Smilodon coming down. We do have an autosave kicking in as well. They usually can't help me, so this is why I stayed very, very still. Okay, so over here, we do actually have one feeding, which is good because I'm quite glad. Look what happens. They like basically really get in there. I mean, I can't even see its face. It's a very, very interesting animation for sure. I kind of expected them to like stand up and eat, but no, they literally get down on the ground and yeah, go for it. So this is, I know for sure that they can get up on this. It's to kind of cut in a little bit and do a little bit jankiness. So this is like the highest that they can climb up on. This is like an absolute no-go. So if I did want them to kind of use this, then I'd have to put some kind of ramp to it, which we might do that in a live stream. We might put some like bedding up here so they can kind of chill out. So yeah, this habitat itself has just got, you know, the usual lots of foliage, lots of rocks as well. And then I'm going to quickly take you over to this section here. We're just going to go get down on the ground. So again, if you didn't want to go into the habitat, then you can come up here into this section here. So we'll just try and fly inside here. So you can look out and see the Smilodon. There's one currently there eating, one sleeping. We do obviously have our little dung beetles in as well to make it nice and clean. So we've got a really kind of great view, like I said, if you did not want to go down into the habitat. So we'll just take you over to the final one here. Yeah, all pretty happy. Now the last thing I need to show you is just down at the river, just because this habitat is quite large. So we'll just do a bit of a flyover here. So again, Smilodon can come up the ramp, down, and then a little bit of muddy trails where there'd obviously be like a lot of foot traffic, which then takes us down into this section here, down to the water. So we do currently have like it kind of fenced off. This kind of needs to be all connected. I really wasn't sure what to do with this section because I was thinking, okay, I'll just put like a bunch of rocks in here. But honestly, I have no idea because I have to finish off from the TeaRex zip line. So you can see that in the background there. There's this section all over here, which I do not know which animal to put in. So maybe you guys can let me know in the comments what you'd like to see. That would be quite interesting. I can split this into two paddocks. I'm just going to give you kind of an overview of the size here. So, you know, we could put in two animals. T-Rex habitat finishes here. I think like if you split this down the middle, this section here is enough for the Acrocanthosaurus, which would be quite nice to have two. Well, this is kind of like carnivore cove, I guess, because we've got the T-Rex, if we had the Acrocanthosaurus, and maybe the Torvosaurus, and then kind of leading round to the Smilodon would be quite interesting. Habitats over there, which I'm trying not to show much of because I have been such a busy bee, and we've got so much episodes that are coming out on the channel, but also I do need to take my time and edit them all. So bear with me, guys, there's lots to come, and I'm going to leave you with our little friend here, which I believe is called Gloria, which I think is like such a great name for a Smilodon. So until next time, guys, if you want to check out the T-Rex habitat, which I have mentioned in this video, then click on this video here. But yeah, I will catch you in the next one. Have a great day. Take care.